Okay. Best behavior, but we know that already. All right. Again, review linear equations, slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, where m is a slope and b is the y-intercept. All right, first one. Before I write number one, I'm going to tell you what to do up here. Write the equation in slope-intercept form. Of the line with the given info. All right, number 1.46 and 212.
I was in the placement test thingy. They didn't give me a pass. We turned homework. Okay. So before you leave today, make sure you get it done with your scores up. Okay. Don't worry. I didn't go in. Okay.
All right, 4.6, 212. In order to find the form, to write the equation of the line in this form, anybody remember what you do first? Yes.
y2 minus y1 over x2.
Okay, he said find y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. What is that the formula for? Slope. All right. So that's what we find first. Now, technically, does it matter if you do 6 minus 12 or 12 minus 6? It does not, as long as you are consistent. Good. If I do 6 minus 12, then I have to do 4 minus 2. Do you guys want to do 6 minus 12 or 12 minus 6? Okay, 12 minus 6, which means I'm forced to do what for the x's? 4 minus 2 or 2 minus 4? I don't have a choice on this one. 2 minus 4. Go ahead and calculate that now. Athena and Taylor. All right, what do we get? 6 over negative 2, which is negative 3. All right, so in our formula, that is m, yes or no? Did they give us b? They did not give us b. How do we find b? I need another volunteer to raise their hand and tell us how to find b. No one remembers how to find b?
That was a long time ago.
It was too long ago?
Yeah.
Thinking.
Formulas in our brain.
Too many formulas or an overload. Okay, I'll give you a hint. We know m, and I'm looking for b, so plug in x and y. Do we have enough information to plug something in for x and y? Oh, I love all those oh yes. Does it matter which one I pick? No, pick one, and it doesn't matter which one. Anyone have a preference on which one I pick? Okay, I challenge some of you to try the 212 just so we see if we end up in the same place at the end. All right, for this is, what was that? All right, for me, I'm going to put 6 equals, m is negative 3 times x is, for me it's 4, plus b. 6 equals negative 12 plus b. Go ahead and add and find your b. And what does b come out to be? Okay, did anybody use the 212? Did it work? Yes? Good, 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 good. Thank you. So it doesn't matter. Pick one. b equals 18. Now here's where kids often mess up. When you're writing the equation, you no longer use these points. These points are done with. We only use those 2 points to find the slope and to find the b. Once I have the slope and the b, will I be using these to plug into my y equals mx plus b? No, I do not. Y stays y, x stays x. I need those 2 variables for my equation. Y equals negative 3x plus what? 18. And that there is your answer. So this would be in your workspace. This would be your answer. Questions before we move on? Now that we've done it, do you guys remember it enough? Yes? Okay. Number 2. 5, 2, and 5, negative 3. All right, did you guys find slope first? Negative 3 minus 2 over 5 minus 5. What's negative 3 minus 2? Negative 5 over 0. Can we have 0 in the denominator of a fraction? Is this slope 0 or undefined? Undefined. All right, we still need to come up with an equation. In our y equals mx plus b, or just in general, when you have a slope that is undefined, what kind of slope is that? Vertical or horizontal? This is the one that has a slope that's undefined. Do you agree? Do you guys remember that? So I'm going to put a little note here. Undefined slope. You can say undefined slope, or you could say no slope. This one here, the horizontal one, has what? This one's no slope, so we cannot say no slope up here. So undefined or no slope. This one is a slope of 0. Your slope is 0. I tell kids to think of it as walking, no special human powers, no Spider-Man. Can you, as a regular human being, walk on a flat horizontal surface? Yes. What is your rise over run if you're walking on a flat horizontal surface? 0, right? You're not rising or running. It's just running. There's no slope. There's no increase. Can you, as a normal human being, walk up the side of a vertical wall? Yes. Can we, as normal human beings with no special shoes, no special Hollywood powers, walk up the side of a building? No, we cannot. Undefined or no slope. That was Claire that said yes? No. All right. All right. So remembering what we know about undefined lines, are these lines x equals a number or y equals a number? This is x equals a number, and this one is y equals a number. So that's just quick review. When you get to them today, you know what to do. Okay, so in this case, what are we going to have? If my slope is undefined, x equals a constant or y equals a constant? X. And x equals what constant in this case? How did you know it was 5? Tells us in both cases x is 5. Can you see that if x is constant, then x must equal 5? All right. Number 3. What do you think is going to happen on number 3? It's going to be the y one. Let's check and see. You can tell the future. I love it. All right, what do we get? Negative 7 minus negative 7 over 4 minus 3. How do you minus a negative? These two change, correct? And negative 7 plus 7 is 0 over 1. 0 over 1, 0 over 5, 0 over 10, 0 over a million is what? 0. 0 over 0 is not 0, by the way. 0 over 0 is undefined. 0 over 0 is still undefined. Okay. All right. So 0, we talked about this already. What kind of special line do we have here if it's 0? Straight line, yes. This is also a straight line. So straight line vertically or horizontally? Horizontal, which is x equals or y equals? So y equals what constant in this case? Can you tell that negative 7 is constant there? The y is constant, so y equals negative 7. Are we good? Yes? All right, I'm gonna let you try this next one on your own. Number 4. 4, -1, and -4, 4. It does take a little more work than the first one. It's not like 2 and 3. This one's more like number 1. But it does have a little more to it. So go for it. All right, in the numerator, did you guys cancel out the negatives and get 5? In the denominator, you add the opposite, so make sure you're careful with that. You add the opposite. It's not 0. What is it? -8. So -5/8. Can I reduce that? No. Why do you think kids struggle with this one a little more? Fraction, but you guys are in advanced math. You can handle this. Pick a point. Do you want to use the first one or the second one? First one. And again, some of you can try the second and see if we end up in the same spot. If I'm using y equals mx plus b and I'm using the first point, what will I plug in for y? -1. M, we found m already to be -5/8. X plus b, we don't know. What do I plug in for x? 4. All right, do you have a little extra work there to work with? Yes, you can multiply and then reduce or cross reduce. What would you like me to do first? Okay, 4 is 1 and 8 is 2. All right, -1 equals -5/2 plus b. And I'll let you guys finish from there. What are you going to do with this -5/2? Add it. Can you think of -1/1 as -2/2? Why would that be helpful in this problem? Common denominator. Okay, go for it. And I'm going to go ahead and change that now, -2/2. All right, what did b come out to be? 3/2. All right, did anybody try the second set of points, set of numbers? Did it work? Okay, don't cross it out. Can I see it? so you know how to fix it. Don't just say, "Oh, I can't do it." All right. Bring it up. Y equals -5/8 x plus 3/2.
Oh, because that's not what 4 times 8 is?
Oh, right. So you multiply, so that would be 32.
Okay.
Okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Okay, questions? All right. You guys can handle this on your own, yes? Yes? All right. Part 2, point slope form. Okay. How is point slope form different? Depending on what you're doing, both forms have its purpose. I'm going to write this down. This is y minus y1 equals
m x minus x1?
yeah. All right. Okay. Just a really quick side note, m is still the what? Slope. Okay. x1 and y1 are numbers. They're coming from a point. I'll just put numbers. So y minus 2 or y minus 3 or y plus 5. Now what do the x and y represent? These are your variables that will stay your variables. All right, just like y equals mx plus b, you see how there's a y here and an x here, and the rest are constants? Same thing here. Y, x, and the rest are numbers that you will actually plug in. Now, y, again, we said each one I said each one has its reason, its purpose. This I really like if they're asking me to find the equation of a line, because I do not have to worry about finding b. All I need is the slope and a point, and I'm done. This one, anybody know what this one's really nice for? When they ask you to do what with the equation? Graph. Because your y-intercept, you go down 3/1, connect the dots, and you're good. So this is really nice when you're graphing. This is really nice when they're asking you to find the equation of a line. Got it? All right. So, for example, let's try one. We're just going to go through and find one in point, slope, intercept form. I'm not going to write everything down. We're finding the equation of a line in what form? Point, slope. All right. Number 1. Point is 7, -4. And your slope is 2/3. All right. If they were asking me for y equals mx plus b form, would I at this point have to find b? If they ask me for slope-intercept form, yeah, I would have to find b. But they're not asking for slope-intercept. They're asking for what? Point slope, which is much easier because all you do is plug it in and you're done. Let me show you what I mean. Y, that y is the variable. Take away y1, which is a number. What number do I use from these three that I have? -4, so y minus -4 becomes what? +4 equals m. What m? What is my m in all these three numbers that I have here? 2/3, parentheses, x the variable, take away x the number. Which x do I use with these three numbers? 7. That's it, you're done. Do you see why this one's nice when they ask you for an equation of a line? Because you don't have to distribute, you don't have to rewrite, you don't have to find b. You're done. We're good. Any questions on that? We're good? All right. Do I need to do another one, or are we okay with that? All right. I'm going to move on then to the last part, which is parallel and perpendicular lines. Are we ready? Yes? Not parallelograms, but just parallel and perpendicular lines. Okay. Parallel and perpendicular lines. Parallel and perpendicular lines. All right, do you guys remember shorthand for parallel? 2 lines. All right, what do we know about parallel lines, about their slopes? Who said that?
I did.
Good job, Nick. Have the same slope. All right, you do need to know that for this unit, for this test, for the final. All right, what's the shorthand for perpendicular lines? That, the upside down T looking thing, perpendicular lines. Remember they form right angles. What do we know about perpendicular lines? They do not have the same slope, but there is a relationship. There's two things that happen. Something with the reciprocal. They do have to make 90, but something about their slopes. There were two things that happen. Opposite, good job. Opposite, reciprocal. Opposite reciprocal slope. All right, so this one's easy because they're just the same. This one you have to do two things. Take the opposite and flip. What's the opposite of a positive? What's the opposite of a negative? What's the reciprocal of 1? 1. Kids always mess that one like, oh, I don't know what to do. 1 is 1. All right. Okay. We are going to, it's a long one. You ready? But it is on the test, so please work with me. Write the equation of the line in point slope form. And this is in, not is. Write the equation of the line in point slope form. That passes through the given point all right, and there's still more. Write the equation of the line. Okay, what the heck did I write here? Oh yeah, write the equation of the line in point slope form that passes through the given point and is dot dot. Okay, A, what do you think we're going to ask for A? A, that it is parallel to the given line. And part B, perpendicular to the given line. All right. Write the equation of the line that in point slope form that passes through the given point and is parallel to the given line and perpendicular to the given line. So what two pieces of information will I need to give you? Obviously a point and a given line. All right, so the point that's going to be given to you, and I know there's a point because it says write the equation of a line in point slope form that passes through the given point. The point is 3, 1, that's the given point. And the given line is 8x minus 4y equals 5. All right, this is a test question, so you are definitely listening, paying attention. Okay, before I continue, any questions just on what they're even asking? All right, first off, if they're using the words parallel and perpendicular or parallel or perpendicular, what's the one thing we know for sure we're going to have to find given this line? The slope. Right now, the form that it's in, the 8x minus 4y equals 5, can I look at that and say the slope is 8? Is it in the right form to say the slope is 8 or negative 4 or 5? No, what form does it have to be in? In this particular problem, what's the easiest form to get in for us to know what the slope is? The one that we just did, or the y equals mx plus b? That's pretty easy to rewrite this in. Do you agree? Okay, so we want to change this to be y equals mx plus b. Why is that? Because we want to compare or find the slope. Why do we want to find the slope? Because we want to look for a parallel line and a perpendicular. So do that now. Get y by itself, move things around and divide, get it into y equals mx plus b. All right, do you guys have an answer? We're getting there. How many of you guys subtracted 8x? Did anybody add 4y instead and then subtract the 5? Does it work both ways? Let's check. I'm just going to move the 8x because I asked that first. Negative 4y equals negative 8x plus 5. And I like to keep it in the right order, meaning the x before the constant. Okay, y equals, what's negative 8 divided by negative 4? 2x minus 5/4. Those of you that did it different from me, did you end up with the same answer? Yes? Now kids are like, oh, I don't want to graph that. That has a 5/4. Am I asking you to graph this? No. And really all we're concerned about is the slope. What is the slope for this line? 2. And look how easy it is. This right here is the hardest part of this problem. This is it. So after you find this, part A is asking for the parallel slope. And part B is asking for the perpendicular slope. Knowing what we know about slopes being parallel and perpendicular, if I'm doing part A and it's parallel, what would my slope be? 2. When I'm working on part B and I'm looking for the perpendicular slope, what would my point be? 1/2 or -1/2? -1/2. All right, does everybody see how I got these two slopes for part A and for part A and for part B? Yes? All right, which form did they ask us to use? Point slope form. That's the nice one, right? That's the easy one when they ask you to find the equation. Y minus y1 equals m parentheses x minus x1. Does everybody remember that? And they only give us 1 point to use, so what do I have? What's my equation going to look like? Y minus 1 or y minus 3? Y minus 1 equals the slope. What did we just find our slope to be? Parentheses x minus x1, so x minus 3 or x minus 1. And that's it, you're done. Easy enough? Again, not that this problem's hard. It may take a while, but really what takes the longest is this right here. And really, is that really hard or long? No, it's not that bad. No. All right, so here I'm going to use the same point because it says passing through the given point, and I'm now working on B. Is perpendicular to this given line. So y minus 3 or 1 equals, do I use 2 again or -1/2? Parentheses x minus 3, and that's it, you're done. Now kids will say, well, that looks like the same line. Are these two the same lines? No, this has a slope of 2 and this has a slope of -1/2. Do you guys agree this is a pretty easy problem? Yes? Okay. When you get to tonight's assignment, make note, there's a whole section of these on the homework tonight where you're doing these type of problems. Make note right here. It says, you may not be able to see it, but I'm going to give you the paper in a second. Directions for part A and B, write equations in point slope form. And it says that because the book asks you to use this form instead. The book will ask you to use this form, and is this the form I want you to use? Why not? Because this form is easier. Got it? Questions?